got something for you. We got something for you, you. It's something Megapod shiny. It's wrapped in Megapod plastic. Put on your Megapod jammy. It's time for Megapod-tastic. 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 Megapod-tastic.
Good morning. Welcome back to Crazy Joe's Concession Stand. I am Crazy Joe, and it's time for another Crazy Joe's Concession Stand podcast. This is another audio podcast, but we're also streaming on YouTube, as we do. But this one will also be going down the audio feed. So welcome to the concession stand on this historic day. It's a historic day in November of 2023, November 8th. And the reason it's historic is because the SAG strike is finally over. The SAG strike is finally over. The actors are going to go back to work. The writer's strike obviously ended several weeks ago. And that's it. Hollywood can cease being at a standstill and get back to work, and that's a good thing, because I asked the question early on when these strikes started, and a lot of people didn't really want to answer this. I know I put the question out there to the John Campea show. I actually wrote into the John Campea show. They ignored my question because it's not a popular question. It wasn't a question people wanted to hear, but I asked the question, was this the right time for a strike? Because in my gut, I kind of felt that while I understand everything the actors want and side with the actors, while I side with the writers, we were and we are in a period of recovery from COVID. COVID really, really hurt the movie industry, the TV industry. And if you look at theater attendance, just this past summer alone, it's still not back to what it was. It's still not back to normal. And I kept thinking to myself, well, we're still in a recovery period. And is it a good idea to shut things down now before we get things back to where they were? And if you look at the box office results this past summer, they were pretty disastrous. A lot of that was because the actors were unable to go out and promote these films. And it's worrisome to me. Did these strikes, will they have a lasting impact? Because they weakened an already weakened system. I don't know. I kind of feel like there's never an optimal time for a strike, but I kind of feel like maybe they should have, kick the ball down the road a year or two and let people get back into the old habits of going to the theater and everything, because they kind of crippled a weakened industry. And I'm hoping it recovers now. I really hope it recovers now. I'm thrilled that the actors can start promoting their movies again. So maybe this will, maybe it'll work out. Like the Marvels opens tomorrow. It's not due to open really well. It's actually kind of showing that it's going to be kind of a weak opening for the Marvels. The movie looks incredible, and the trailers have been fantastic. And you got to imagine a good portion of why it's tracking so low is that the cast has not been able to promote the movie. So maybe they can get out there now. It's the last minute. It's the last minute, but maybe they can start promoting the movie. But the other thing, and that's not the number one thing today. But the strike did end. But the number one thing is I've been asked by Paramount Pictures to give away some Blu-ray copies of Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. It's now available on Blu-ray, 4K disc, digital, DVD, all kinds of physical media. You can get it now. And Paramount reached out to me, asked me to give out some Blu-ray copies. I do not have them in hand yet, so I won't be able to give them out until I receive them. But You can bring home Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 on 4K UHD disc and digital now. Tom Cruise stars in the film critics are calling the biggest and best action movie of the year. Buy Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 on 4K UHD disc and digital today. And go behind the scenes with incredible bonus content available at participating retailers, rated PG-13 from Paramount Pictures. So there you go. And we thank Paramount Pictures for this promotion. So stay tuned, and I'll let you know how you can win a copy once I have them in hand. But I don't have them yet, so we're going to wait on that. But yeah, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 now available, and we're going to get to give away some copies. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's take a look at the comments real quick. Everybody's here. Isaac, the biggest movie fan, is here. Good to see you, Isaac. Hunter Iggy, Crazy Joe, do you think we'll get more Justice League news this week or next? Well, I don't think we're going to get any Justice League news for a while. I mean, we're Superman. We're going to start with Superman and build from there. Anthony Beltrace here. Good to see you. This is very good for the actors. They got everything they wanted. Absolutely. Absolutely. James Borland says, say, Joe, are there any movies you're looking forward to next year? Personally, I'm not going to see Ghostbusters 4 because Afterlife is the perfect send-off. Couldn't disagree more. That's another thing. We had a drop today. The trailer dropped for Ghostbusters 4, which is called Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. And it really looks fantastic. It really, really looks spectacular. I was a little surprised. Bill Murray's in the trailer. We all know Bill Murray's been very reluctant about doing more Ghostbusters movies. He was the holdup for years. The reason we didn't get a Ghostbusters 3 for a very, very long time. But he's back, and Ray and Winston are in the trailer, and of course the new cast. Plus, we get some new people in there like Patton Oswalt and Kumail Nanjiani. So yeah, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire looks great. In fact, it's probably one of my top anticipated films of next year. It was one of my top anticipated films of this year, but then due to the strikes, it got pushed, which is disappointing. But I am really excited for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. And my God, what a treat to get that trailer today. I did not, when I woke up this morning, I didn't know I was going to see a trailer for a Ghostbusters movie. Anthony says a lot of movies got delayed into next year. That was coming out this year. Yeah, that was going to be a Christmas movie. James also says apparently there's going to be a live action Legend of Zelda. I'll wait for the trailer. Yeah, I can't say I'm excited for that one. I mean, I don't know. I liked the first Legend of Zelda game. I hated Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, and then I never played another Zelda game after that. But yeah, the original Zelda game was good, and I watched the cartoon, the old cartoon on the Super Mario Brothers Super Show every Friday. They did the Legend of Zelda. The cartoon was okay, but yeah, I mean that doesn't really move the needle for me. I don't know. Maybe you show me the trailer, maybe I'll change my tune, but I don't think I can't get too excited about Zelda. Also, you know, with a few exceptions, video game movies aren't really very good anyway. We've had a couple good ones. The last Tomb Raider was pretty good. Five Nights at Freddy's, I don't even know the game, but Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie was pretty good, and the Halo TV series was really good. But I don't know. I can't get too excited about that. Jacob McKenzie's here. Good to see you, Jacob McKenzie. James says Cocaine Bear is one of my favorites of this year. I wish I could agree with you. I was totally disappointed by Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear needed more Cocaine Bear. There wasn't enough Cocaine Bear in Cocaine Bear. So that was very disappointing. Jacob also points out, now this is just a rumor, but it's one I've heard as well. He says they're going to change the title of the next Mission Impossible movie. Yeah, so apparently the rumor is the next Mission Impossible movie will not be called Dead Reckoning Part 2, which is a little weird. Because the first one's still called Dead Reckoning Part 1. Michael asks, have I been to the Baja. I'm sorry, Michael. I really don't know what that means. Lisa Soares is here. Hi ho, Joe. What do you know? Lisa Soares, by the way, Lisa Soares, one of the great people I've met on the internet over the years. We met on a top secret Muppet Facebook group. Top secret. You had to be invited by Frank Oz himself. That's how secretive this Muppet group is. It's really not as weird as it sounds. There was a Muppet documentary directed by Frank Oz several years ago called Muppet Guys Talking, and they had several tiers you could buy into, and one of the tiers got you an invite to a secret exclusive Facebook group. That was part of what you got for buying in at that tier. And that's where Lisa and I met. And Lisa was kind enough. We hung out in person this past weekend. She showed me around Rhode Island. She let me sleep on her couch because I went up to the Rhode Island Comic Con. So a big thank you to Lisa. A big thank you to her boyfriend Nick, who put up with the weird 6'5" dork sleeping on the couch. They couldn't have been more hospitable, and I really appreciate it. Little Movie Perps here. Little Movie Perp, come on in. Come on in. Little Movie Perp says, I just saw Haunting of Venice. I dug it. I agree. It was too short. Yeah, I really thought it was entirely too short, but there you go. Let's see. Jay Casale says, okay, Joe, you're such a big Muppet fan. If you rank them, where would Kermit the Frog, Fozzie Bear, and Gonzo be? Top 10. They'd all be in the top 10. My favorite Muppet, personally, is Sam Eagle. Sam's my favorite. Sweetums is my second favorite. So I'd say, I don't know. Those are sort of definitely the top three Muppets, or yeah, amongst the top Muppets. They wouldn't be in my top three because I personally like Sam and Sweetums, but they'd definitely be in the top five. You know what? They'd probably round out the top five. Jacob says, Joe, do you like the idea that merged Disney Plus Hulu app will have a beta test launch next month? Official launch happening in the spring. I got to hear more about it. I saw the headline, but I've been very, very busy and haven't heard much about it. Dante says, do you remember Pirates of Darkwater TV show? I do. And what do you think of Disney's Once Upon a Studio cartoon short? I really liked it, Dante. By the way, Dante, I happened to stumble upon an article online about you. At least I think it was about you and about your record collection. It was very interesting. Very interesting. You know, when you're trolling for Muppet and Sesame Street stuff online, you find some interesting things. And I was like, I know that guy. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Lisa says, no problem, Joe. It was a tiny adventure, and we're all technically dorks, so it's okay. All right. So Mission Impossible, that's what we needed to talk about because Paramount's let me give away some copies. I'm very, very grateful. The strike's over. That's a big deal. So I guess the question is, what now? What now? Now that the strike is over, what now? Well, personally, I am hoping that we can get some more casting news for Superman Legacy. I'm really excited about Superman Legacy, and I think James Gunn is chomping at the bit to share more information with us. So hopefully we learn more soon. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow. Maybe we'll get like casting info tomorrow now that they can talk about it. And Dante says, thank you, Joe. Got a bunch of other Muppet stuff as well and done other miscellaneous stuff. And another thing, I've been hoping that we would get an announcement for a Muppets Mayhem season 2. The first one's been nominated for several awards. It obviously was a big hit, and I've been hoping we'll get a season 2. And I've been wondering if the strike is one of the reasons there's been no word. So maybe we will get some information. J2H is in the house. J2H, you need to get in here. I am going to send you the link. Come on in. Just come on in. Join us. Hang on a second. Let me get this to you. Hang on. Oh, God, it's too hot in the basement. All right. I'm sending you. God, my computer is so sticky. Like, not physically sticky. It's not like I'm touching it and it's sticky, but it's like, the keys. You try to do something, and there's a lag time. Like I'm trying to send J2H the link, and my computer's just like stuck on a certain screen. Oh, God, I probably need a new computer. I don't want to spend that kind of money. Well, Jacob, you're going to get the link eventually. Right now, I can't send it to you because my computer's stuck. It's just not doing anything. It's just not doing anything. Dante says, do I remember the Banana Splits? What's my favorite Hanna-Barbera cartoon? I've seen the Banana Splits. It was kind of before my time. It was more of a 70s thing. I was around in the 70s. I was born in 76. But I was a little... J2H just hopped on to say hi. J2H, you and I do need to do a stream together because we got to talk about I'm From Hollywood, the Andy Kaufman movie. Did you have a chance to watch that yet? Because we need to talk about that still. Dante says, how about Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue? I remember that. That was a good one. Lisa says, if we get Muppets Mayhem Season 2, they can integrate some of the other Muppets into it, and Season 3 can be even bigger. Keep it going. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Oh, boy. So, yeah, I can't believe the strike's over, man. This strike just seemed like it was never going to end. Excuse me. I am getting very, very congested here. Hang on just a second. I need to blow my nose. And I'm not going to do that on camera because nobody needs to see that. Hang on a second.
Nope, I told you.
So, money? Is there money involved?
All right, let me try this again. We're going the other way.
Kira, show Daddy how to do it. That's it. Good job. Now get out of the way. Come back by Mommy. Oh, you did it!
You know I can do it.
And what happens in the aftermath of this video? Michael, you could have at least tried to contact Scott Knightlick before you did this video. He's such a victim. No, he's not. He's attacked this community 3 times, and that's my phone.
Hello, Richard Blessing. It's me, your pop, your good old dad. I just wanted to let you know that you were a little hard on that video yesterday, and one of those lights on the Enterprise isn't working.
Sorry, my dad.
Damn, that didn't work. Let's try a good old text. Hey, Richard Blessing, it's your dad. Please give me a call back at the following number.
I bet you that's my dad calling me to tell me how he saw my latest video and he thinks I stepped over the line.
That wasn't your dad. You just got jump pranked.
Hey, jump man, jump.
All right, thank you for that, Junkman. Little Junkman interlude there. I was pretty stuffed up. Dante says, any new plans for Comic-Cons? Did you meet Katie Lee at RetroCon? I did meet Katie Lee. I had a bit of a conversation with her. You know, I was a volunteer and I was on guest relations for a while, so I was kind of walking along helping all the guests. So I had a bit of a conversation with Katie Lee. She was on Saturday, at least part of the day Saturday, she was actually dressed as Sheila, her character from Dungeons and Dragons. Like, she had the cloak on. It was kind of cool. But yeah, no, she seemed very friendly, Katie Lee. As for Comic-Cons, I got to tell you, I'm a little burned out on Comic-Cons. I'm a little burned out. And Lisa could tell you this. Lisa and I were at Rhode Island this past weekend. And I said this to her as well. But the Comic-Cons are getting to be a bit old for me because the autograph, number one, the autographs just keep getting more and more and more expensive. More expensive. They nickel and dime you for everything. Used to be you buy an autograph, you got a picture with the person. Now you can't do that. It's separate price for a picture. Some conventions they're charging a second price if they want a quote or like any kind of personalization or their character name. Just every little thing costs more and more. But on top of that, I was telling Dave Perillo after I met Michael J. Fox, there aren't many icons of my generation, icons that I grew up with, that I haven't met yet. I mean, there's a few. I'd love to meet Bill Murray, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, but I met Weird Al Yankovic. I met Christopher Lloyd, Michael J. Fox, William Shatner, Patrick Stewart. Before he died, I met Pee Wee Herman, Mr. T. These are the icons of my youth that I grew up with. These are these larger than life stars. And I met so many of them. And you think to yourself, who else is of that stature? And you look at the newer stars and the people that are on TV shows today, and they're good. I mean, they're all very talented, but they don't have that same draw. They don't have that, oh wow, this is a larger than life legend that I've been watching my whole life. There aren't many like that anymore. And it's like I met most of them. There's a few. There's definitely a few. But therefore, the autograph thing has lost its luster. So then you got the other part of the convention, which is dealers' rooms. Dealers' rooms. And look around. I mean, I got crap all over this place. I'm out of room. I don't have time. I don't have room for more collectibles. I'm selling stuff on eBay to get rid of stuff because there's no more room around here. Like everything you look at, you're like, where would I put that? Where would I put that? There's no more room. And therefore, you go around the convention floor and you see stuff and you're like, well, there's no sense buying that. Where would I put it? And if you're not going for the autographs and you're not going to buy stuff, what are you doing at the con? I mean, there's panels, I guess. You can go to panels. Though recently haven't really been able to do that because the actors couldn't talk about anything during the strike. I'm going to keep going to Dragon Con, and I'm going to keep going to RetroCon. RetroCon is local. It's run by friends. I'm always going to go to that. Dragon Con is a different kind of con. The draw there is people. Friends from across the country. Chuck Tomasi over in Phoenix, Arizona. Craig Stepp in the Carolinas, and my friend Clinton Alvord from the Comedy Forecast podcast, who lives up in New England, and the Florida vloggers, right? Explorer and Ryan, Greg's Game Room, Tampa J. These are people that I don't see throughout the year, but once a year we come together at Dragon Con, and that's the draw. That's the draw of Dragon Con for me. Getting together with these people that I love, these close friends that I love, and hanging out and spending time with them once a year for a few days. And it's not about the celebrities. It's not about what kind of swag I can bring back from the dealer's room. It's just about spending time with these people that that mean the world to me, and that we were in very different corners of the country, so we don't really get together all the time. My friend Gary from Jacksonville, it's just we get to come together. So Dragon Con and RetroCon, I will always go to those cons, but generally speaking, I'm a little conned out. I'm a little conned out. So yeah, there you go. I don't know when the next con I go to might be Dragon Con. It might be Dragon Con. Dante says, hope you will be at the Philadelphia Thanksgiving Day Parade, as Dunkin' Donuts is sponsoring again this year, along with free coffee and munchkins and gift cards. Are you going? No, I'm not going. In fact, I'm going to be in Virginia on Thanksgiving. And we're going to we're driving down to family's house in Virginia. Honestly, I'd like to sit home and watch the parade, but we can't do that, unfortunately. Andrew says, months ago in Phoenix Comic-Con. The Phoenix Comic-Con. I used to go to the Phoenix Comic-Con. I met Christopher Eccleston, the Ninth Doctor, Grant Gustin, and Tom Cavanaugh, Flash, Reverse Flash. Those are some good ones. I'd love to meet Christopher Eccleston. I met Peter Davison. It's the only Doctor I've met is Peter Davison, and I met two of the companions. I met Rose Tyler. What's her name? Billy Piper. Met Billy Piper, and I met Catherine Tate. So there you go. Jacob says, am I going to go see Wish? Absolutely, I'm going to go see Wish. Definitely. Lisa says, wish Paul Williams was at his table when we went by, so we could have at least said hello and embraced some Muppet love. I couldn't agree more. That was really disappointing that Paul Williams was not at his table when we went by. The man who wrote The Rainbow Connection. Would have been nice to meet him. Would have been nice. How was meeting Doc Brown and Marty McFly? Well, with Michael J. Fox, it was brief. He's not in the best of health, as you know. So he kind of just he gets a rhythm. He puts some music on and he just signs moves. He gets himself in a beat. So I really was only in front of him for 30 seconds. So I that's all it was. Christopher Lloyd was shy but friendly. I met him a couple times now. He doesn't say much. He's very quiet, but he comes off as humble. That's what I describe him as. I describe him as humble. Dante says Richard Kind plays Snuffy's balloon fairy on an episode of Sesame Street. Oh, I don't think I ever saw that one. I'll keep you posted on the next Comic-Cons, and Thanksgiving leftovers are the best. Don't you agree or what? Definitely. Hey, RJ's here. Good to see you, RJ. You want to come in? Come on in, man. I have to send you the link. Hang on a second. I'm never well prepared. I'm the unprepared YouTuber. That's my, or podcaster, depending on how you're getting this, because this one is, as I said, going out on audio. Here we go. I'm going to send a link to RJ. We'll see if he pops in. By the way, anyone who's on Team MME who has access to the stream, feel free to come in. I don't know that we're going to go much longer. I don't know that we're going to go too much longer, but I wanted to talk about the strike ending and talk about our giveaway for the Mission Impossibles. And I got to figure out a good way to give away these Mission Impossible discs. I really do. I've never been good at figuring out how to do giveaways. Like the most fair way. What is the most fair way? Do we do a contest? What kind of contest then? It's always tricky. And RJ's here. Welcome.
Hello, how you doing, Joe?
Doing good. How about you?
I was doing okay. Now I'm doing great because of the announcement tonight. So I'm very happy. So
I'm happy too. I mean, look, there's bigger things at stake here. There's bigger things at stake, but from a micro standpoint, I'm really hoping that this means we get some Superman casting announcements now.
I guarantee you that they said the strike officially ends at midnight tonight. So Eastern time, I believe, or something like that. I had to look at the actual announcement, but I guarantee you, come Monday morning, we're gonna get a flood of news. Like the next couple weeks, they're gonna like as much news as they can pump out before Thanksgiving holiday and before Christmas time. They're gonna pump out as much in the next couple weeks as they can.
I'm expecting to hear. Maybe I'm dead wrong on this, but I'm expecting to hear casting for Plastic Man. Because they've already got the
one they'll probably do actually is probably Jimmy Olsen.
That's true. I mean, they've announced 2 of the Terrifics though, so I'm wondering if we're going to get the other 2 Terrifics announced for Superman.
Yeah, my guess is the next Superman casting will probably be Jimmy Olsen and Lex Luthor, and probably the villain.
Yeah,
Plastic Man could be a surprise too. Who knows?
That's true. I don't know. I'm excited, man. I can't wait to hear what's coming up. We're gonna get some, and I get the feeling, just based on some of the things he was tweeting out a few weeks ago, James Gunn is like chomping at the bit to share stuff. Like he wants to share stuff.
They're still going to film on time because I think he said they plan to film Superman Legacy in January. You think they'll still be ready to go, or do you think it'll be a backlog because the actors may have commenced to other stuff that got delayed?
It's a good question. I don't know. I've been saying, I know it's a very unpopular thing to say, but I feel like this strike came at the wrong time. They were still recovering from COVID. They weren't, the industry had not yet recovered from COVID.
Yeah.
And,
but I mean, there was something the actors could do to control that, though, to be fair, because I mean, the contract was up this year. They had to negotiate this year, it's just bad timing, sadly.
Yeah. I hope permanent damage hasn't been done. Because, I mean, the box office was so bad this summer, and people always want to go, oh, superhero fatigue. But it's like, no, it wasn't just superhero movies that were bombing out. It was pretty much everything.
Honestly, the highlight this year, box office-wise, was Barbenheimer. That was like a big event this year, Yeah,
which is weird. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, those are good movies, but it was just, that was a weird thing to think that was going to be the big thing.
That's what I'm saying. You can't predict it anymore, Things are just so weird. What was I going to say? Well, I've been seeing people talk about this too. Like, I'm wondering, because the Marvels is coming out. Well, it's basically already out in a lot of countries, I think. But I'm wondering if they'll have like Brie Larson or Teyonah Parris or Iman Vellani like fly out to do like Jimmy Kimmel and stuff like right away, just to try and get something done this week. I'm just gonna let it go.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, man, that's bad timing.
About that movie, I do think is hurting it. I really do.
Yeah, it's bad timing for Disney, man. It's like if they had just been a few days earlier, they could have gotten these guys on the shows. But
yeah, I mean, I honestly maybe would have considered pushing the Marvels to next year, to like March, have it open the same time, like because the original Captain Marvel opened March of 2019, and maybe would have considered opening this one in March of 2024. But I guess they just didn't want to do it. I mean, for whatever reason.
Yeah. Now, Degrassi is saying the Marvels is better than Captain Marvel. Have you seen it, Degrassi? Have you seen the Marvels?
Although, to be fair, at least when it comes to me, it's not a high threshold to cross because I think the first Captain Marvel is kind of whatever. It's not bad. It's just like it's okay. It's okay.
No, I really liked it. I'm the '90s nostalgia of it all, and the
I mean, Nick Fury was really good in that movie. I think that just the issues that. Because of the story, I think that they didn't allow its lead character to shine because she's kind of like brainwashed for most of the movie and doesn't know who she really is. She doesn't have much of a personality, which is an intentional choice by the film. It's just that because of that, we don't really get enough of good stuff from the main character, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm excited. I think this movie has more of an opportunity to show off Brie Larson's like personality a bit more, because she won't be in that brainwashed soldier state. So
it's weird. I don't know. Did you by any chance catch the John Campea show today?
I caught. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I caught the segment about the Marvels reviews. So
he kept saying, "Oh, well, we all expected this movie to be bad," and I'm like, "Why?" I mean, I wasn't expecting this.
I think he was saying that the expectation was that the reviews were going to be very low, like because I think he was saying that's why he titled the stream the way he did, because even though it's at like a 55%, it's higher than what people assumed it would be at, which I guess is true, although it's still pretty low.
I mean, I don't understand why people even expected it to be low, though, because I mean, I thought the trailers were all really entertaining. Nia DaCosta, I really liked her Candyman.
Yeah, I think it's just because, at least I can only speak for myself, none of the trailers like really like wowed me. It kind of just looked kind of generic. I mean, not bad. It didn't look horrible. It's just that I don't think there was a good enough grip in terms of like the story or like the emotion, or like I think it didn't do enough of a job showcasing the chemistry between the leads. I don't know. It's just I feel like this entire marketing campaign, something felt off with like the trailers and the promotional video. I mean, like I said, I feel like with the last trailer they put out, I thought it underserved Miss Marvel. I was like, I'm watching this last trailer, I'm like, why are they not leaning more into Miss Marvel? Because like I know, the viewership for that show is supposedly low, but like the people who watched it really loved that show, including myself. Plus, the character I feel like is going to be like the star of that movie. So I'm like, why not showcase Miss Marvel a bit more? Instead of trying to say it's like the next big thing since Endgame, which I don't think is a smart way to play that movie.
I don't know. I'm pretty excited about the movie, though. It just, I also noticed something else today. I kind of came to a conclusion. I put this out on Twitter too. Again, it was on the Campea show. His guest, whose name escapes me, Sean something. I wasn't too familiar.
Sean Chandler. Yeah, he has his own YouTube channel. Yeah, he's a good guy. I like his channel.
I've never seen him before. I mean, I saw him. He was on Campea like for the last couple of days, but before that, I hadn't seen him. But he kept saying that the movie had a lot of really cringy parts, and I think I've come to the conclusion, in my experience, obviously this isn't across the board. This isn't all the time, but in my experience, I'd say maybe 8 out of 10 times when people say something is cringy, it seems like that means it's funny. Like a lot of people like don't like jokes in their movies. Like a perfect example, when I remember, and I think you were there, a bunch of us were on Enosh's channel when the first trailers for Spider-Man had come out, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Doctor Strange had the line, Scooby-Doo this shit, and everybody was complaining, oh, that was a cringy line, that was a cringy line. But every time I saw it in the theater, and I saw it several times in the theater, every time the audience laughed.
Well, I think that line works better in the context of the movie when you see like what built that joke. Because I never had an issue with the line personally, but like that's a problem with trailers. Sometimes they cut lines a certain way for trailer, like for maximum trailer reaction potential from the audience who's watching it, and it removes a little bit of the context, so it sometimes doesn't come across the same way. I think when it comes to cringe, I mean, what I've always said about this, that I think the reason people call stuff cringe, or at least when it comes to these Marvel movies, is that if something is meant to be funny and you don't laugh at it, it's kind of the worst thing that could happen, because if you don't laugh at a joke, it kind of just lands flat and there's like that period of dead air. I'm not sure what to describe it, but it's kind of like physically like wince a little bit, because like you're like, I didn't really laugh, and this is kind of awkward, But if other people laugh, it's maybe not as bad. I don't know.
See, I think I've come to the conclusion that when people say something is cringe, for me, that's a positive, because that means, or I've taken that to mean it's going to be funny. Because when I look at like all my favorite movies, a perfect example is Shazam 2. I adored Shazam 2. I love that movie so much.
I never understood why Shazam 2 got so much hate. I mean, I don't think it's as good as the first film, but I think it is a very good movie. Like, I did enjoy it. I think it had a
But
lot of heart, and it had I think I really liked the story too. I thought they did some cool stuff with the story and like the interactions between the cast.
yeah, it was. So I don't know. That's my takeaway. I think my takeaway is when people say something is cringe, I'm taking that now personally as a positive. Because I found that those are the things that like I enjoy the most. So, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think that sadly, like this movie just has a lot like going against it. Because I mean, I saw today that they've downgraded the box office from like potentially low end of 60 million to like a low end of like 42 million, which that's not great. Um, which I mean, it makes me sad because I don't think it's the movie's fault. I just think that it's coming out just the worst possible time because of the strikes and just because I do think there is a bit of a fatigue. I don't think it's superhero fatigue. I just think it's Marvel fatigue. I can't explain. I mean, but that again, it comes down to subjectivity. Not everyone's going to feel the same way, you know? So some people may not be feeling that way. Other people might be. I don't know. I don't know what, and you know what the other issue is too? I think personally, which people aren't really talking about, I think it might be that the movie feels a little too small scale to where people are in that mindset of, oh, this looks like a Disney Plus movie. I'll just watch it on streaming.
Yeah, and that's something I keep coming back to. I feel like Disney Plus and HBO Max together, the two of them have really hurt the box office. In part because of
I
the
think streaming
shortened
as a whole is,
windows.
oh no, breaking bad news.
Well, what happened?
Movies have been delayed.
Oh, what's been delayed?
Venom 3 has been delayed to November 8th, 2024.
When was it supposed to open?
It was supposed to open, I believe, in the summer of 2024.
Actually, I think that might be a better date for it.
November?
Yeah, I mean, like, didn't the last one come out in October, or the original came out in October?
Both movies came out in October. Yes,
I don't know. I think fall's better for Venom than summer.
Yeah.
Summer's highly
you know what though?
competitive.
Speaking of Sony, I have to ask you this: what did you think of the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire trailer?
Oh man, I first of all, I didn't expect
And
that
real quick,
today.
context: I have not. People are gonna hate. You're gonna hate me for this. I have not seen Ghostbusters Afterlife yet. I don't know why. I missed it in theaters. I regret not seeing it in theaters. I need to watch it. I've heard it's very, very good, but I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, yeah, no, it was.
I
it
didn't
was
know
my,
that I didn't know we had like a brand new cast of like kid Ghostbusters. That was surprising to me.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm really curious to see how they're going to pull this off. But I mean, I loved Afterlife. It was like I think it was one of my favorite movies the year it came out. And I was not expecting a Ghostbusters trailer this morning. That Ghostbusters trailer really blindsided me because I didn't know we were getting marketing for that movie this soon. But I loved the trailer. I love the trailer. And the kids, I heard a lot of people say that Ghostbusters Afterlife was too reminiscent of the first movie. I disagree completely.
This morning, I saw a lot of hate for the trailer this morning, being like, why are they treating Ghostbusters like it's like this mythological, iconic franchise when it should just be a dumb comedy for adults? I'm like, I kind of get it to an extent where they think it's kind of like the franchise has become too, I don't know what the word for it is, too satirized by or too saturated by wanting to become a franchise in the modern blockbuster iconography kind of thing. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of silly. I just don't understand why the recent Ghostbusters movies that have tried to do more to appease the fan base has gotten so much pushback and hate. It's very odd.
It's. I mean, I've been a Ghostbusters fan since the first. I saw the first Ghostbusters was the first midnight movie I ever saw. I was in the third grade. We were at the shore for the summer, and I wanted to see Ghostbusters, and it was sold out. And they said, "Well, we have a midnight show," and I'd never been up till midnight before. And my mom said, "Well, it's summer vacation. Let's take them to the midnight show." And I was so excited because I was seeing Ghostbusters and I was staying up till midnight. I was like, "Well, this never happens." I've been a fan since the beginning, and I remember all through the '90s we were clamoring for a Ghostbusters 3. Everybody wanted Ghostbusters 3, and we kept hearing rumors, oh, they're going to do it with Chris Farley and Will Smith. Will Smith and Chris Farley are going to be the new Ghostbusters. And then it would fall through. And
wasn't there going to be a Ghostbusters 3 with Chris Rock and Seth Rogen at one point?
I heard Chris Rock. I don't remember hearing Rogen.
I could have sworn at one point they were talking about a Ghostbusters 3 with like Seth Rogen, Chris Rock, Patton Oswalt, and somebody else.
They may have, because that's the thing. It just kept dying and coming back and dying and coming back. And I don't know. And then like when that 2016 film came out, I hate to agree with the fandom menace on anything.
No, I know. I know. Because here's the thing, like when that movie came out and the first trailer came out, I hated it. But you know what I said? I said, I'm still gonna watch this and give it a chance. I didn't want to hate that movie. It was just that it was bad. You know?
Well, my biggest problem with that movie was what was going on behind the scenes, because Dan Aykroyd and not Harold Ramis, Dan Aykroyd and Ivan Reitman were actively trying to develop an in continuity Ghostbusters 3, and Amy Pascal just kind of decided, oh no, we're going to reboot it instead. And that really rubbed me the wrong way, because you had to create. It was the same thing as like when the remake of Child's Play came out and Don Mancini was actively there going, hey, I'm not done with Chucky yet.
Chucky, that's not a reboot. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like,
I don't know. I think it's just weird studio hubris where they're just like, hey, we have our idea. We don't need your idea. You know, we want
right.
to. But then eventually they go back to the creator's idea. It's like, oh, wait, this is what people actually want. You know,
but even that's kind of amazing, because there was a time when if something got remade, they never went back to the old again. Like they would never be like, oh, we're going to go back to the previous version. It's like, no, now you're in remake world and you're going to get sequels to the remake or nothing at all, because they'll say, oh, nobody went to see the remake. The interest must not be there anymore. So the fact that they kind of then, after the remake failed, were like, oh, let's go back and we'll do Ghostbusters Afterlife. Oh, kind of shocking. I was like, wow, I thought that
think it's because Sony as a studio, Sony Pictures as a studio, they were in desperate need of franchises, especially IP franchises, to where they're like, we have Ghostbusters, we need to use it. It didn't work when we tried it this way. Let's try and do it their way, so to speak. So like, okay, let's give it a shot. And I think they made it for just low enough of a budget, because those movies aren't very expensive, to where it's like, yeah, it made enough money to where we can just keep making more, you know?
Yeah. There was a comment here. I was just going to, oh yeah, here it is. Degrassi is saying it's going to be tough to beat the Fall Guy next spring.
I'm very much looking forward to that one.
No, that was a good trailer.
I'm like, yeah, this looks good.
I'm wondering if it's like, because the Junk Man and I were going back and forth texting each other about the Fall Guy. We both watched the old TV show, and we said it doesn't really look like the Fall Guy. So I'm kind of wondering if it's like an origin story, because
wait, is the Fall Guy based on something? I thought it was an original film.
Oh yeah, no, it was an old TV series starring Lee Majors back in the 80s.
Is it still about a stuntman doing?
Yeah, he was a stuntman and a bounty hunter on the side.
Okay. See, I didn't know that. I thought it was an original story, like an original idea. I didn't know it was based on something.
Yeah, so this trailer shows him, obviously he's a stuntman, but they show him like he has to go looking for the actor. I'm wondering if this is going to be like an origin story, like, oh well, now he's going to be a bounty hunter. No, see, Degrassi says, oh, it's the Fall Guy, trust me. Okay. All right,
yeah,
I trust you.
I didn't know there was a bounty hunter element to it. I didn't know that was based on like a previous existing story or a series. So
I'm there for the Fall Guy. I mean, I liked that trailer. That they had me. The only way they would have had me more is if they played the instead of Bon Jovi, if they played the a new version of the old theme song, "The Unknown Stuntman." I was just like, oh, come on, I want the Unknown Stuntman.
Hey, maybe
Little Movie Perp says he worked with Lee Majors on Ash. That's awesome. Sweet as hell, love Trump. Okay, there you go.
There you go.
Oh boy! Speaking of Lee Majors, I just bought a movie on 4K that he's in. Scrooged. Bill Murray's Scrooged. He has a cameo in one of the movies in the movie.
I've not rewatched Scrooge in so long. I need to go back and watch it again.
Yeah, it's on 4K now. You can pick it up on 4K. Lee Majors is cashing fat checks on this one. Oh, is Lee Majors? Does he have a cameo? I don't know. I can't wait. I can't wait to see this movie. Let's bring on the Fall Guy.
Yeah, I mean that's the other question now because post strikes, it's like what movies will still be able to be ready for release in the first half of next year. It might be a very barren January to like July because of the strikes. I mean, maybe some stuff will come out. I just don't know what. Like it's capped. Like I don't think Deadpool 3 is going to come out in May, like was originally planned. Maybe they move up Captain America because that movie's further along.
Yeah. No,
Degrassi. I'm going to look it up real quick. I'm going to see what's coming out next year because I'm curious.
Degrassi's pointing out that Jason Momoa is going to host SNL on 11/18. I got to say, that was a pretty clever way. I mean, obviously the strike's over now, but that was a pretty clever way to get around the not being able to promote your movie.
I mean, yeah, but now he actually can, which is great. I mean, it's going to help Aquaman a ton that he's able to promote stuff. So I got the list from Wikipedia here. I'm going to put it in the studio chat so you can look at it. I think January should be fine. January has the Mean Girls musical remake, and it has the Beekeeper movie with David Ayer directing and Jason Statham as like the big releases. So I think January should be fine. February has Argyle, Lisa Frankenstein, and Madam Web, and the Bob Marley movie. And then, let's see. March has The Fall Guy, Kung Fu Panda 4. Very excited about that. And then Dune Part 2. And then Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. And May 17.
I'm really curious about Madam Web. Like Madam Web, that's either going to be a movie that nobody cares about, or it's going to take a lot of people by surprise.
Yeah, I mean, post Morbius, I don't know. Well, I think that if they put out a trailer soon, maybe we'll get a better idea. Okay, and then April we got Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, Rebel Moon Part 2. An untitled Universal monster film, and then Challengers, and then after that, I don't know. Maybe Kingdom of the Planet. I think stuff that they got trailers for should come out. So Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes in May should be safe, I think. So that's the first half of the year up until like the start of the summer season. So I think stuff that they've already put trailers out for should be fine. I think Mean Girls will be fine. I think Beekeeper will be fine. Same with Argyle, Lisa Frankenstein, The Fall Guy, and Ghostbusters. The other stuff, I have no clue. I don't know.
Well, I'm ready.
Hey, as long as some stuff comes out, man, I just hope the theaters will be okay. I really do, because these strikes really could have screwed them over.
Degrassi
still could in a lot of ways.
Why did Paramount remove any indication that the new Mean Girls is a musical from the trailer?
I don't know. That was a weird choice. Because the whole point of this is that it's meant to be a musical remake. It's not the same movie. It's actually a straight-on musical. So I don't know why they would hide that it's a musical in the first trailer. Like I think they should have let people know, hey, this is very different. Like you may have seen the original and it's great, but imagine if the original was like a modern musical. That's the whole appeal of why they even made this movie.
I do got to say, the one thing that's really bothering me about Wonka, Wonka's coming out next month, and the trailers look pretty good, but we haven't heard any of the songs. It's a musical. They haven't given us any hint of what the music in the musical is going to sound like. And I keep saying to my wife, I'm like, okay, well, I'm in for Wonka, but I want to hear what the music sounds like.
Maybe it's just a marketing thing to where they think that if you hear it in a trailer, it kind of turns you off. Maybe it's like some kind of market research thing. Like, oh, people don't want to hear the singing in the trailers.
Maybe Degrassi's pointing out they're doing the same thing with The Color Purple, which is a musical too. They're not
Wait,
playing
the
the
Color
music.
Purple musical?
What's that?
The Color Purple remake's a musical?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't know. Okay.
yeah.
See,
They're not doing a good job.
I thought it was just a straight up remake.
And I keep telling Little Movie Perp, a Little Movie Perp says maybe they're going to do a separate trailer for that. If the songs are banger, it might be rolled out differently. That's true. But I keep telling Little Movie Perp, I wish that's what they would do with the Evil Dead franchise, because Evil Dead has a wonderful musical that's played on and off Broadway, and it's tour. Every Halloween it tours the country. I'd love to see the musical of Evil Dead turned into a movie, much like the Little Shop of Horrors.
I mean, that'd be interesting. Are you going to check out the Eli Roth Thanksgiving movie in a couple weeks?
Yeah, definitely. I
Bring the
love
barf back for that one. If you saw the Grindhouse trailer back in the day for that, I think Eli Roth's going to go very far with the actual movie version.
I love Grindhouse. Grindhouse is that movie bombed so hard when it hit theaters back in, what was it, 07? 06, 07?
It was like 07 or 06, yeah.
That movie bombed so hard.
It was a very experimental thing that they did, like going back to the Grindhouse format, double feature, trailers in between.
I saw it 3 times in the movies before it went away, and I went nuts for that. I thought it was so good. And then I went and saw the trailer. I went and they turned Machete. Machete was one of the fake trailers. They turned Machete into a real movie, and I didn't really think it worked. I'm like, they were too beholden to the trailer. They were like, well, we got to get every shot from the fake trailer, and but then they made the sequel to Machete, and I thought that one worked beautifully. Like, I don't know. I thought they were trying.
Yeah, I mean, I like that some of the Grindhouse trailers eventually became movies. Because what else is left? Because we got the Machete movie. We're getting Thanksgiving. What were the other ones?
There was the Rob Zombie one, Werewolf Women of the SS.
Oh yeah, that one I don't think's been made into a real movie, not yet at least.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I'm not a Rob Zombie fan. I if it was, I think I'd skip that one.
Oh, so wait, you didn't like his Monsters movie?
Oh my god, it was. I
never saw it. I mean, the trailer looked pretty bad, but
I think the biggest problem with Rob Zombie is he feels the need to put his wife in everything, and she's not a good actress. Like, I mean, in Halloween, at least she died in Halloween, and you're like, oh, good, he can't put her in Halloween 2, but then he puts her in Halloween 2 as a ghost. It's like,
it's like, nope, I figured out a way.
And and Degrassi pointed out the best one. Don't. The Edgar Wright one.
Oh, which one? I forgot about that one. Yeah.
That was like, if you're thinking of going in this house, don't.
Yeah. Forgot about that one.
Don't. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I saw today too that apparently Bob Iger said that they're going to be licensing some of their content to Netflix. Apparently, that was a big news story today.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, apparently he talked about during the earnings call. It said it won't be any Pixar, Marvel, or Star Wars stuff, but they are going to license stuff to Netflix in the future.
I mean,
which kind of
makes
sense if you think about it, because some of the stuff that they were canceling, right? They didn't move forward with the Spiderwick Chronicles show or the Captain Nemo show, so that kind of stuff maybe could go to Netflix, like stuff from like their live action department that they're not moving forward with. Maybe
there's also stuff that I mean, with Fox, they own so much now. They just own so much, and some of it they might not see the potential in it. Like, I mean, a perfect example is Warner Brothers with the Monster Show, the Monarch show. Apparently, Warner Brothers just didn't see the value in that, but Apple did. So, why not license it out? If you're not going to do something with it, but you could still make a buck.
Yeah, because like Degrassi says in the chat, I think they sold the Captain Nemo show to AMC, the network AMC, to air on their network. So I think they said Spiderwick Chronicles is going to Netflix, although I don't remember. I know they said that it was going somewhere.
I really need to learn how to back stuff up off of Disney Plus, like download and save it to a hard drive, because there's certain things on there that if they ever get pulled, I'm gonna want to, like especially the Muppet content, like Muppets Mayhem and the Muppet Haunted Mansion. Like if that ever goes away, I want to know that I have it backed up somewhere, and I don't know how to.
I would hope that the Muppets would be safe, but
you would hope so, but I don't know. Like there was a Henson show.
The way they handled Willow was still so bad to me. Even if you didn't like that show, that did not deserve to happen to Willow.
Yeah,
that was really bad.
There was another Henson show called Earth to Ned, and every episode of that is gone. And a friend of mine was one of the puppeteers on it, and you can't even watch it now. So.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Disney and the Muppets is such a weird thing because, like, I do feel like Disney is really underserving the Muppets. Like, they kind of use them, but not as much. It's weird. Like, I feel like with Disney Plus, they've done the most they've done with the Muppets in a long time. But, like, they really should get back to, like, making movies or something or doing, I don't know. They got to do something more with Muppets.
I don't know. Well, Muppets Mayhem is being nominated for all kinds of awards, so I'm hoping we're going to get a season 2 of that. And I don't know. Well,
I mean, I would love to see, like, you know what they should do, honestly? I would like to see, like, the Muppets do, like, more of, like, the movies they made back in, like, the 90s, like a Muppet Christmas Carol, Muppet Treasure Island. Like, do a Muppet version of, like, a classic story or some kind of, like, remake of something with Muppets. I'm not sure what you would do, but
I mean, well, they just did the Muppet Haunted Mansion 2 years ago, and
yeah, something like that. But
it's
I think
generally agreed that that's the best Haunted Mansion movie. They've done 3 Haunted Mansion movies now, and the Muppets one's the best. So,
I mean, gosh, I'm trying to think of like a classic literary story that the Muppets haven't done yet that I'd like to see that could actually work really good.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they
I don't know,
did
maybe like Muppet Oliver Twist or something. I don't know, maybe not that one, but something to that effect.
That's something to think about. I still want to see the Muppets. In the 90s, there was a rumor going around. It was never true. It was never true, but there was a rumor going around they were going to do a remake of Pulp Fiction called Pulp Muppet. It's like, obviously that was never going to happen, but I would have loved to have seen that.
Muppets Grapes of Wrath, Muppets Crime, the Muppets of Mice and Men. All those are great. I mean,
oh, you gotta cast Sweetums as Lenny.
Yeah. By the way, John, I'm curious. Are you someone who's into Doctor Who?
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for the new season.
I know. Well, selfishly, I'm excited that the strikes are over because David Tennant can finally promote it because he hasn't been able to.
Yeah. People really give the Jodie Whittaker seasons a hard time, and they're not great
because of one episode. It's because of one episode, and that's it. Like, honestly, her run's not that bad, but the Timeless Children episode is not very good.
I still maintain that her run was better than Capaldi's, and it's not that I dislike Capaldi. I just think the writing was worse under Capaldi.
I think the show's kind of been in a weird state ever since the 50th anniversary and Matt Smith's exit. I like a lot of Capaldi stuff. Some of it works, some of it doesn't, mostly because of writing. And same with Jodie Whittaker, although I think it's just that the characters fall flat in the Jodie Whittaker era. I don't think she had really compelling companions.
Yeah, but that was the problem with Capaldi too. I don't think his companion. In fact, Capaldi was really hurt by Clara, because Clara was introduced as Matt Smith's companion, and she was the what did they call her? The Impossible Girl.
Yes, the Impossible Child or something.
She was the Impossible Girl, and she had a role to play, and she played that role, and her story kind of was over, but then they kept her on through the through the regeneration, and she never jibed with Capaldi. And I remember I kept thinking, like, why is she still here? Like, she served a purpose with Matt Smith, but that purpose is over, and they're just kind of keeping her around for no reason. Like, I think that really hurt the show. Then they got rid of her. They brought in Bill, who was, I think, maybe a little bit better with Capaldi.
Well, the issue with Bill is that I feel like Bill got introduced so late,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
late, and then they just kind of were like, okay, we're done with her. Because I think they knew that they were going to do like a totally different direction with Jodie Whittaker, new companions, new doctor, new everything. It's like, okay, just like clean slate again, because Moffat was leaving.
Yeah.
And maybe that was the issue too. Because you know what? For all the faults you could argue, well, not really. I mean, because the thing is, when Russell T Davies was leaving, I mean, yes, like they made sure to like wrap everything up. Like no stone was left unturned. They made sure to wrap up every little thing that he ever touched or ever set up.
Yeah.
Right. With Moffat, I think they were trying to do that too, or he was trying to do that, but it wasn't as effective. I don't know. It felt weird. Like that transition period was kind of weird.
No, I agree. I don't know. I'm really excited that, even though he's only coming back for a few episodes, I'm really excited about David Tennant coming back, because Tennant is my favorite, definitely.
I mean, it's either, for most people, it's either Tennant or Tom Baker. So
yeah, or Matt Smith. A lot of people really love Matt Smith too.
Yeah, I mean, I like Matt Smith. If we're going back though, like for the classic era, who was your favorite classic Doctor?
Peter Davison.
Peter Davison,
who I was actually saying earlier in the stream, he's the only one of the doctors I've ever met is Peter Davison.
I hear he's very, very, very nice, and when you meet him, he's very kind.
Yeah, and oddly enough, he's David Tennant's father-in-law. So
he is. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's weird. One doctor's the other doctor's father-in-law.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking forward to the 60th. I want to see, like, because again, I think it's good that Russell T Davies is back. I want to see what he does, given full reins again. They're starting like the Hooniverse. They got the Disney branding now and Disney money and the Disney promotion with like it being available on Disney Plus around the world. So it's going to boost, I think, the viewer potential of the show at least.
Yeah, they say they're going back to season 1. They're renumbering.
Basically said that once the Christmas special airs, like the Christmas special is basically starting. Like this is like the brand new stuff. This is series 1, season 1. Or like this is a brand new era, basically starting right here. Which I think is kind of smart because I think they want it to be as accessible to new people as possible. They want everyone that can jump on with that.
I mean, it definitely worked with Christopher Eccleston. I remember when I was a kid, because, you know, I loved science fiction as a kid. I was a huge Star Wars and Star Trek guy. And I always wanted to check out Doctor Who, the classic series. And it was so hard because, you know, back in the era before you can get DVDs of it, and, you know, you just kind of were luck of what was on TV. And you'd always tune in, and it always felt inaccessible because you'd tune in, and they would be like chapter 5, and you'd be like, well,
because it had those multiple part stories back then. And
and you'd be like,
if you didn't start with the beginning, it's like, what the hell is this? What's going on? Where am I?
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's the biggest issue I think that they're having with Doctor Who outside of the UK is that when it comes to the streaming rights and everything else, like it's all over the place. Because if you want to watch classic Doctor Who from William Hartnell all the way up to the last episode of Sylvester McCoy, that's on a service called BritBox, which is a separate service. If you want to watch,
I think they're also on Pluto. I think you can watch them on Pluto TV with ads.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Or at least you used to be able to. I don't know if you still can.
I know for sure they're on BritBox. That's the one I've heard about. And that's like an add-on to Amazon Prime that you can add to. And it's its own separate service. But then if you want to watch New Who from like 2005, Christopher Eccleston up until Jodie Whittaker, that's on HBO Max. It's on Max. And then the spinoffs and everything else, like I don't think the spinoffs are available here yet. So everything's just all divided. Now in the UK, they introduced the BBC iPlayer, and they have like their own like giant Hooniverse section that has literally everything on it, documentaries, specials, like everything you could ever imagine. That's not coming to America. So I don't know if Disney is planning on like buying everything so that way they can ensure that it's like a unified platform for Doctor Who on Disney Plus. Because I've been talking to people, and apparently Disney, at least right now, they're only getting the new stuff. So starting with the 60th anniversary and like the new series coming out next year. So I don't know. I don't know if they ever have plans for that, but I think it would help. It'd help a lot if they got that unified platform. Because I can't imagine Max is keeping Doctor Who, at least the new stuff or the newer series, on there for much longer. Because they've had it since Max launched. They've had like the 2005 to 2022 Doctor Who streaming rights for like 3-4 years now. So,
were you a fan of Community, the sitcom Community?
So I never was like huge into Community, but I've heard of it. Yeah, I've watched a few episodes.
There was a show on Community that the characters were fans of called Inspector Spacetime. It's supposed to be Doctor Who, and there's an episode where you find out that Inspector Spacetime for a brief moment in time was a woman, and it didn't go over so well. This is long before Jodie Whittaker ever was the Doctor. But they were like, oh yeah, nobody liked her. Her name was Inspector Minerva. So as a joke, I always have referred to, and I like Jodie Whittaker, but I always referred to her as Minerva because of this joke from Community. I'm like, oh yeah,
it's funny how oftentimes comedy reflects real life eventually at some point.
Yeah,
you know. Like I said, I didn't have an issue with Jodie Whittaker. I just think that she got let down by the writers. Because like if you go back to it, like nobody back in the day had any issue with there being a female Doctor. If anything, people were wondering when it was going to happen. Everyone's like, it's going to happen, just when, you know. So I don't think anyone had an issue with the Doctor being a woman. I think it was just like, hold on, let me rephrase.
Well, I knew a couple
were going to have an
people.
issue with it no matter what, but I mean, a lot of the fan base was on board with it.
And it was surprising too, because obviously the usual suspects were very, very angry because it was a woman. But in addition to that, I knew a couple women who thought like Matt Smith and David Tennant were like, super sexy. They had like crushes on them, who were angry because they no longer had like a cute guy they could crush on as the Doctor.
Well, that's the great thing about Doctor Who, which is so funny. Like, because this is sci-fi and like these kind of shows in general, like there always is some level of sex appeal for like the guys. It's always the companions because there's always like very attractive young women, and then for the girls, it's always the Doctor. Especially back in the New Who age, David Tennant and Matt Smith. I mean, my God, like women were just thirsty as hell, But that's the thing. Yeah, Degrassi's right. Like the Doctor, you've heard of like what was it called? It was when Rowan Atkinson played the Doctor. Remember that comedy special?
Yeah.
They made a whole joke about the Doctor being a woman at the very end. So and that was a BBC approved thing. So it's like they're not beyond that. Like they were like teasing that and having fun with it back in like the 2000s or whatever, the 90s. So.
Isaac says, have I seen the video John Campea did where he ranted about the AMC CEO? Because I've never seen John rant like that before. Isaac, I'm not sure which video you're referring to.
He's a lot of rants.
Because I basically anytime the AMC CEO, anytime Adam Aaron comes up in the news, Campea rants about him. So I've seen him do several rants about that guy. So I'm not sure exactly which one you mean. But and a super sticker from Jeffrey Miller. Thank you, Jeffrey. Appreciate it.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I was going to mention too because I saw this too. You have any thoughts on them Nintendo announcing a Legend of Zelda live action movie to be? They're going to co-finance it, put up 50% of the money, and work with Sony.
Yeah, it doesn't move the needle for me.
I would have until. I'm just going to say that right up front.
What's that?
I don't get how Universal lost Zelda to Sony. I really thought Universal would have like doubled down and said, we're making all the movies with you, Nintendo. We will do everything with you.
That's one you got to show me a trailer. Like you got to sell it to me. I'm sure.
I don't know how Zelda works in live action. That's my other thing too. I don't know. I mean, it could work. I'm not saying it can. I'm saying like I have to see it. You know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's. Honestly, I've never been a huge Zelda fan. I liked the first game. I loved the original Legend of Zelda, but I never kind of went any further.
So
Like I
you were
tried.
more Mario than Zelda.
Yeah, and even Mario. Like I thought the movie was okay.
I love the
But,
Mario movie. I had so much fun with that.
yeah, I enjoyed it, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. It probably isn't for everyone, but I mean, I saw Mario in the theater 3 times, I think. So, no, I think that's the only movie so far this year I've gone to see at the theater. Well, no, actually, Guardians I saw twice. But
I saw Guardians 3 times, I think. For me, the record this year is The Flash. I saw The Flash 5 times.
I think I've seen Flash. Well, I think 2 times. One in the theater, one on streaming. So, yeah. I was thinking someone said something.
Skullman says the channel John Can't Be Exposed is great. I disagree. I don't like that channel.
that channel's very mean.
Yeah, and also I don't like any channel that's like their whole thing is all right. Like I have a really good friend, Adam the Woo. You know, he's got the Daily Woos, his channel, and he's a very very big YouTuber. And there are these channels that all they do is follow Adam the Woo and show what he's doing and talk about what a quote unquote loser he is. And I'm like, well, he's actually out doing stuff and making content. And you are every day of every week taking his content and commenting on it. How's he the loser? It's like he's actually making something and all you're doing is taking his content and saying this guy's a loser. It's like, well
here's the thing. Like,
doing something.
at a certain point, the Can't Be Exposed channel was kind of funny and kind of poking at certain stuff that I kind of could see like a disgruntled fan getting upset about the John Campea show. But then it just started getting really weird and nasty, and I just was like, nah, this isn't funny anymore. This is kind of just stupid and like really like borderlining on like harassment, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a little weird, but I don't know.
Yeah, for me, I think it just got too mean spirited, and I think it's just kind of no, not a fan. But yeah, I don't know. There's something else I was gonna mention. I don't even remember what I was gonna. Oh yeah. The other thing I was gonna ask you, how do you feel about Donna Noble returning for the Doctor Who specials?
I'm excited. I really like Catherine Tate. She was, and also her story arc was pretty tragic.
Yeah, and that's the thing I've kind of seen some people talk about. Where it's like, ooh, you gotta be careful with this because like that ending to her story is so iconic and so emotional. If you kind of undermine that in any way, people will get pissed, you know.
But I don't know. I kind of want her to get a happy ending because you know if you look at where she went, she was the most shallow character you'd ever want to meet when we first met her as the runaway bride.
Oh, for sure.
And
made it great because she just like was like, dude, like she's just like the great thing about Dawn is that she's like the every woman. She's like, I'm not supposed to be here, you know.
But it's like you get this character who starts off so shallow and she grows and grows and grows and grows and really has this wonderful arc, and then has it all robbed of her. And it's like, hey, you just grew and became a better person. But now we got to take it away from you, and you can't remember that it happened. And it's like, I don't know. It's good storytelling. Don't get me wrong; it's great storytelling. But
because you could argue I don't know if you actually I think all of Tennant's companions except for Martha, I think all of them had it really rough. Rose had a pretty sad ending.
Yeah,
had a pretty sad ending. Martha kind of had a sad ending a little bit, but it was a little more optimistic with her a little bit.
I had a little bit of a crush on Martha. I think she was my favorite.
Yeah, Martha's super underrated. I don't understand why they never brought back Martha at any point. I guess because Rose and Donna were just more popular, but
well, they did bring her back though, because she ended up with Mickey in the end. Like she and Mickey.
No,
I
meant like for like specials or like post her run. I'm like, because they brought back Billy Piper, they brought back now Catherine Tate. I'm surprised they never brought back Martha. You know, it's kind of like everyone forgets about Martha. I'm just like, why?
Yeah. Now Degrassi says Campia exposed cracks me up. I don't like John purely personal, so anyone roasts him is okay by me. Degrassi knows stuff about some of the Campia people, especially Robert Meyer Burnett. And one of these days, I would love to hear Degrassi's stories. So Degrassi, if you ever want to spill the beans, send me an email. I'm curious, and I can keep a secret, but I want to hear what's going on behind the scenes there that you're in on. So
yeah. Oh, that's the other thing that Bob Iger talked about today. Apparently, Hulu and Disney Plus is going to merge to be one giant app, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how that's going to work, because people like their Hulu where it's like by itself. Because like, how are you going to integrate like live television? Because that's a big part of Hulu. That's a big part of their business, is like having the live TV subscription.
You know, I keep wondering. Obviously, Disney is required to buy Comcast out on Hulu. But I keep wondering, why didn't Comcast want to buy Disney out on Hulu? Because Peacock is not, it doesn't have the, it's not breaking through like a lot of the other streamers. And you would think that it's like Disney's already got Disney Plus. You would think Comcast, if they have a stake in Hulu,
service.
Yeah, it's like I would think that they would rather put the money into buying out Hulu than trying to launch.
I mean, it could be for maybe they felt like they'd be paying way too much for it, like more than it's worth. It could be that, or maybe Universal's also seeing like reading the tea leaves when it comes to streaming, and they kind of don't want to invest as much anymore. Could be that as well.
Yeah, but they are already investing so much in Peacock. It's like, I don't know.
I think with streaming, it's kind of just been weird, because now we're seeing more of these licensing deals with these studios going to people like Netflix. Kind of Netflix pays to have more of a larger content library from a multitude of places now. It's just like, I don't know, man. I could see, like, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I could see some of these streaming services either merging or just kind of shuttering. You know, because I don't think the current model as it stands is going to be sustainable. Not for the long term.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if we have some mergers. Like if Peacock and Paramount were to merge, I could see something like that.
Yeah, it'd be like one service.
Well, I'll tell you, I am starting to. Oh, what's that?
One last update that we just got from Deadline, talking about the strikes. They're saying that Superman Legacy will now be filming in March of 2024.
Oh wow, that's pretty soon.
So it's a 2-month delay from January, but it will be filming. Yeah. So they're saying that Venom 3 is going to begin shooting, Deadpool 3 will return, Beetlejuice 2, Gladiator 2, and Juror number 2, and that Superman Legacy will begin filming in March. So.
I'll tell you, I'm starting to fade fast here. I'm getting a little tired. So I think it's time I play this. Yeah, I got to wrap this up.
No, you're good. You're good.
I am starting to fade. It's been a long day. So.
Yeah, it's hump day, middle of the week.
And I'm almost about to break into the Enterprise theme. It's been a long day getting from there to here. Degrassi says there will be a Paramount Peacock bundle. There you go.
I see that. I mean, it'd be smart.
Well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I wasn't doing much anyway, so I figured just come by and say hello.
And just a reminder, we are going to be, as soon as I have them in hand, giving away some Blu-ray copies of Mission Impossible. So thank you to Paramount for allowing that. And yeah, very appreciative. So if you have an idea, how we can handle these giveaways, send me an email. Let me know. crazyjoeadventures@gmail.com. I'd like to hear what you have to say because I don't know. I've done a few of these giveaways in the past, and I'm not really happy with how they've gone up till now. So I think I need a better method of doing giveaways. So I'm curious to hear any ideas you might have. Let me know. All right, everyone. You can find RJ on what's your channel now? Is it?
It's just so you just type in YouTube, look up the username. It's Resident Justice on Twitter, YouTube, and Threads, and I think Twitch as well. But I don't really do much on Twitch. So.
And you're on $3 Theater.
Occasionally,
every night, right?
I pop in every other night, or when I can. I kind of just tour around. I go everywhere. Kind of a wandering traveler.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'll tell you, I was giving Max a hard time because I'm usually on MME most nights, but oh my god, I saw the headline last night that we were running with, and I'm like, I can't appear on this stream. This is bullshit. This is not true. This is a lie.
Wait, what? What happened?
The headline last night on MME was Kathleen Kennedy is fired. Kevin Feige is taking over Star Wars. And I'm like,
no, that wasn't a real title, was it?
That was the headline for MME last night. I'm like, I can't even appear on this stream. It'll hurt my credibility to be on that stream because that is not true.
Oh,
that has not been reported anywhere. I'm checking. I'm like looking at all the sources, and someone says, "Oh well, a scooper said it on Twitter," and I'm like, "And we're running with that as a headline."
You're talking about the report that said that Kevin Feige is going to replace Kathleen Kennedy when she leaves?
Yeah,
I heard about that. Yeah.
Wow. Like, my God, we're just running with like Doomcock style make-em-ups now. That's what we're doing now.
I mean, listen. I mean, maybe he's just having some fun. Maybe he's just having a little bit of a troll. He's having some fun.
Well, all right, everyone. Thanks for coming, and until next time, keep wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas
with the plastic feet.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
Tell everyone you meet.
Keep wearing those pajamas
with the back door flap.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
Don't open it, it's a trap.
Oh no,
it's a trap. Some people call them bitches. Some people call them jammies. They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have 100 tiny commander adamas. But no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
I know we're having fun.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
And now the song is done.